Here at WOOD TV, tonight is the night. The Democratic candidates for U.S. Senate will be here in the WOOD TV8 studios for their debate. And our political reporter and debate moderator, Rick Alvin, is going to moderate this, as well as the Republican governor's debate. That's on Thursday of this week. Rick's in studio tonight with a preview of this. Rick, I guess this is the night, and we can expect, I guess, some real clarity here from these candidates. Talk a little bit why this debate tonight is so important.
Yeah, Brian, I think it's hard to overemphasize the importance of this debate, and let me tell you why. Because this is one of the most watched Senate races in the country. This could be the race that decides who will be in charge in the upper chamber next January. So whoever performs the best tonight, who can make the best case for making sure that they move on from the primary election into the general election, has a good chance of being a person who can make a real difference when it comes to that balance of power. Two Democrats, Dr. Abdul El-Sayed will be at this podium, and Congresswoman Haley Stevens at this podium. Will be asking them identical questions, trying to get to the differences between the two, and there are many differences between a more establishment campaign and a more progressive campaign. So all of that will be on display here tonight, and this will be one of those races that will be watched from not just Michigan, but from the national perspective, because both parties have a lot invested in this, and whoever wins this primary coming out of this debate is going to be on the spotlight when it comes to November, as the Democrat will take on Mike Rogers, who is not opposed in his primary. Brian?
Yeah, Rick, and you spoke with former Michigan Democratic Party Chair Brandon Dillon earlier today. What did he have to say?
Yeah, he really kind of put a finer point on it. He talked about how important this entire process is, not just the debate, but the entire primary process and kind of what's riding on it.
I think the reality is we have a robust primary. And I think for the foreseeable future, you're going to have robust primaries up and down the ticket, whether it's for United States Senate, governor, or even down here to state rep. You've got different visions of the party. You've got folks kind of represented by Abdul El-Sayed who are looking to make significant changes to the party, particularly its leadership. You have other candidates like Haley Stevens, who's I think wants to make change, but might not, represents a little bit more of kind of the establishment part of the party. So there's going to be those fights that come up. I think the important thing for Democrats is that people keep it to issues, positions, policies, beliefs, and not get personal, and really focus on what's important, which is going to be winning the seat in November.
Yeah, Brian, as you said, that's the former chairman of the Michigan Democratic Party, former state representative from Grand Rapids, Brandon Dillon. And what he said is very important, because he says he predicts that there will be more primaries up and down the ballot. When he was the chairman of the party, he did a pretty good job of keeping primaries from developing. In other words, having candidates who could run more or less unopposed. But he thinks that's over. He thinks there's going to be a lot more challenges. And that creates a real problem when it comes to trying to run a party, because things get said in primaries sometimes that can't be unsaid. And so when you give your opponents, in this case Republicans, that kind of ammunition for the fall, that can be a problem. So primaries can be a little bit difficult to navigate. On the other hand, I think voters appreciate the opportunity to make their choices, which is what they'll be doing when it comes to the August primary in the Democratic race for the United States Senate, an open U.S. Senate seat, I should say, which is the second time that's happened in 2 years. It's pretty rare that it happens, and now back-to-back years, back-to-back cycles, and here we go again. It'll be really interesting to see how this plays out.
All right, Rick. Yep, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thank you for your time. And of course, join us ahead of tonight's debate on WOOD TV+. Rick's going to scoot over there and talk with one or both of the candidates, one-on-one with both of the candidates, I should say. And be sure to tune into WOOD TV+ after the debates. We'll be running the spin room there. We'll get reaction from the candidates and their teams about their debate performance. Again, the Republican candidates for governor will hit the debate stage on Thursday.